All right, guys, how's it going? So, if you believe the latest claims, the latest suggestions today, Liverpool have tabled a formal offer for Moises Caicedo. Now, I don't know where to start with this one, really, to be honest with you. He is a player that I think most supporters would be delighted at seeing us sign. And he is one of those players pre the beginning of the summer, before the transfer window was open, that many of us thought that we would go for. But some of the digits involved in apparently making that deal happen sounded excessively high. And those claims were being made around the same time that Liverpool apparently backed off from Jude Bellingham, although I'm not sure we'll ever get to know the truth about that situation. But if Liverpool wouldn't pay all that money for Jude Bellingham, it then started to sound like Liverpool wouldn't pay all that money that would be required to sign Moises Caicedo. Now, I heard some rumours about Caicedo and our interest around the time, you know what my memory's like. Around the time that his club faced Chelsea in a pre-season friendly in America. It was a weekend, and it was a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the rumour that I was given at the time, or the information I was given at the time, was both clubs would be, in one location, if you like, in the States, which would give them, ample opportunity to try and, Chelsea trying to sign him. They could sit down with his club and try and make something happen. And the suggestion was, if nothing happens this weekend in terms of an agreement between those clubs, you should keep an eye on it, Duncan. Now, normally I would. And I remember at the time thinking, I might make a video about this, or speak about it more so on the members' website. But it was one of those times when I thought to myself, you're going to make yourself, look ridiculous, because you're going to make out that Liverpool are interested in Moises Caicedo, or maybe, closely monitoring the situation with Chelsea, etc. But this is a club that is, every player that they're being linked with at the moment is in the region of 35 million. They're triggering transfer contract release clauses and things like that. They wouldn't pay the money for Bellingham. Why would they pay all that money for Caicedo? Which some of the claims at the time were excessive, and I just looked at it and thought, I'm not gonna suggest that for 1 minute, and I didn't. I don't think I did. I mean, you guys probably know more about what I say in my videos than I do, because I've got memory like a sieve. But I don't think I went with it for that reason, that I talked myself out of it and thought, you can't go out there, Duncan, and make out that we might still be interested in Caicedo. Because all the circumstances just didn't add up, and sometimes you have to make those decisions, right? And you go with what you think's right. So, if Liverpool have made a bid today, there's a part of me that thinks, I wish I'd mentioned that before. But I'm totally and utterly confused with the way things are at the moment. A lot of things don't add up as to, why we're not progressing on certain deals. A deal for Caicedo would certainly lift the mood. I think people would be delighted with that. I talk about, I'd like to see Lavia brought in, but this is because I'm on the wavelength of what we have become accustomed to as to what they might spend, etc. But if you'd have said to me, well, the money's there, Dunk, I would have gone, well, Caicedo, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And there's a part of me now that's like, I genuinely don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Twitter ITK. You shouldn't be on Twitter anyway. You should be on liverpoolfootballclub.social, just saying. In all the time that we've had the members website, which is obviously part of Cop Talk, I've never known a summer or a transfer window where I've felt so in the dark with things, because our contributors and the people that make it all possible usually make it an interesting place, and we're usually not far away from everything that happens. But I'll be honest with you, this summer it's been dead on there. When I say dead on there, there's the same volume of people, the same volume of conversation, but the big guns, the people that provide information usually, they're very silent. And I know some of these people personally, and what keeps being fed back to me is, well, it's because there is no relationships with Boy George, the sporting director, the new sporting director. So people have to form new friendships. So if you think about it, if you haven't got those people, within a community like Cop Talk that have been there for decades, if they're not forming friendships with, some of these people work at the club, it runs parallel with the journalists, because I think the journalists that we usually hear a lot more from have been very quiet too, right? And it all stems, from, well, they've got to make, new friendships with the man that's dealing with the transfers. So it's been very quiet, and I am totally confused. Like, there is this part of me today that's like, yeah, that could make sense, because where is all the money? Do you know what I mean? But it would be a significant investment. Is that because has there been a sudden change? Maybe it was nothing to do what was said to me when that fixture was played around, whenever that fixture was in the US, I can't remember. But I was told Liverpool would, if nothing was agreed that weekend, which it obviously wasn't, then I should keep an eye on things. Maybe it's nothing to do with that. Maybe Liverpool have found themselves under increasing pressure and know the shit's about to hit the fan. So maybe this is a new development and absolutely nothing to do with what was said back then. But there's the other part of me that says, is this one of them, like, we tried but couldn't do it? Do you know what I mean? We tried to be ambitious. We're an ambitious club, but the player had his heart set on Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? And that's the bit you need to look for. So the rumours are starting to circulate now, as I'm recording this video, literally now. So by the time you're watching this video, you might see these rumours across social media. I don't really do Twitter anymore, right? Because I got banned from there, you know what I mean? I was only sticking up for a mother, by the way. But I think you're going to see more and more. I think you're going to see more and more of this as the day pans out. And like I say, my natural reaction is to think, yeah, it's the bluffing. So, beware for Liverpool who stepped up, but he didn't want to come to Liverpool. That's what I'd be cautious of. But because I was told the other week around that game, that pre-season game, to keep, these and these open, it makes me think Liverpool did maintain an interest. But I don't know. I mean, like, I stopped tracking everything to do with him, because I just saw that he was too. I just thought he was going to be too expensive. So, for example, one of the headlines to do with Chelsea's interest today: Chelsea make Moises Caicedo breakthrough after failed £80 million bid. So this £80 million bid was supposed to go in last week, and Brighton have been saying they want 100 million for him. So you're now talking about getting up into the finances of Bellingham. So you can understand why my mind is a little bit confused. That I speak to you guys and we bounce ideas off, the VIP members website, the community. Right now they'll be like, I guarantee they'll be all over it. Brighton were wanting 100 million for him, but now they're saying they want 90 million up front, and that just doesn't sound like Liverpool, does it? So what's changed? What's changed? I believe the claims that's being made today are not coming from rogue shitty websites or Twitter ITK wannabes or something like that. These rumours are originating from people that wouldn't, in my opinion, deliberately mislead you, but whoever's been the messenger behind that to them, whoever's fed that to them. But why are we hearing it? That's, this is my mantra all the time. Why are we hearing that? Because if Liverpool were trying to sign him, why are we being told this? Unless that is Brighton putting that out there to put pressure on Chelsea. So I think you just be cautious with the Well, we tried, but he wanted Chelsea. But bear in mind that before writing it off completely today, there was that little bit of, stuff given to me whenever that fixture was, which might be three weeks ago now. I can't remember. I might have mentioned it on the members website. I honestly cannot remember. So that's it. So let me know your thoughts on this. Interesting. It would be a very good signing. 90 million, no? 90, 80, 90, 100, when they wouldn't do that for Bellingham. I know it's not that simple, you've got to take into account salaries and things like that, wages and that. But it's interesting. Would that mean then that they've given up on, other targets like Lavia and said, fuck it, we'll finance this? So many people have been calling out for this one, Caicedo. In the last, week especially, I've seen so many people associated to the club saying, why don't we just go for him? Put the money to that. So exciting, good. It's just something different to talk about. Interesting. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Please thumbs up the video and leave me a comment. All right, guys, cheers.